Shutterstock Music.
The Association of Charitable Children Institutions of Kenya, ACCIK, in collaboration with Juvenile Justice Agencies, Multimedia University of Kenya and other stakeholders organized the first National Symposium on Childcare and Protection from 16th to 18th May 2018 under the theme Building Synergy for Enhanced Childcare and Protection: Experiences, Challenges and Opportunities.
We are the alternative to imprisonment.
The idea to host this symposium was born from the need to bring stakeholders in childcare and protection to share experiences built on best practices, improve professionalism, and develop collaborations.
First is to thank our Almighty God, who has made this symposium a reality, having been postponed due to the contested, prolonged electioneering period in our country in 2017. Indeed, we can say this is the day that the Lord has made. We can rejoice and be glad in it. Your Lordship, Kenya, the children of Kenya are faced with a myriad of problems that we as Kenyans are witness to. We are witness to children being discriminated, particularly those living with HIV and AIDS, bisexual children, children of imprisoned mothers, who sometimes are not considered by the prison department because they are not prisoners, and they are not taken care by the children department because it's not under them. They suffer discrimination. We also have children who are abandoned and neglected, particularly those who are in the streets. They seem to belong to no one. And those living with disabilities, to name but a few. For this reason is this symposium that we, together as a nation, can open a dialogue and think about how we could build synergy, come together, and think of how best we can take care for these children. We also do have systematic problems that affect the sector. Currently, we are faced with a systematic challenge of non-renewal of CCIs, or charitable children institutions, since October 2016. Composition of National Council of Children's Services since October 2016. Uncertainty of Children Department due to lack of funding that hinders services to the public and by extension to the children of this nation. We also have a big challenge with the Children Act that has been going amendments. We have a task force doing that, but since 2016, we did the first validation. And this year, another validation was done, but it surprises us that every time a validation is done, other clauses are sneaked in, sometimes not for the best interest of the children. It is a challenge and a concern for us as stakeholders. The purpose of the symposium is calling for Kenyans as a nation to build synergy to care and protect children.
Shutterstock Music.
The symposium was officially launched by Chief Justice David Maraga.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, children are the future of any nation. Childcare, therefore, is a priority of any nation if it wants to have a future of its people. It is common knowledge that in Kenya, we have serious challenges with neglected and abandoned children, most of whom come into conflict with the law. This symposium is therefore timely, as the collaborative measures taken by all the agencies in the justice sector and in protection and childcare in getting more prominence than ever before. As stakeholders gathered here this morning, it is therefore important to first have a look at where we have come from and where we are and where we should go to find out the best ways to deal with the issue of children in our country. I'm happy to learn that you have come from all parts of the Republic of Kenya, and I'm sure the exchange of the challenges that you will have will be very enriching. Prior to the Children's Act of 2001, children issues were addressed through a myriad of statutes, and there was only one juvenile court that was in Nairobi, in the whole country. Due to sustained pressure from children's rights advocacy for the government to domesticate international and regional instruments touching on children protection, Parliament passed the Children's Act of 2001. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a child, according to both local and international instruments on child protection, such as the Constitution of Kenya, the Children's Act, and the conventions I've just mentioned, is any person below the age of 18. These legal instruments exhaustively define what the inherent rights of a child are, as embodied in the 4 pillars of child protection, namely survival, development, protection, and participation. I've said that we focus on the children on the streets, but we have very many neglected children in homes. You have sometimes seen news flashes of children being beaten by house helps. I see that as a serious challenge, because young mothers and fathers have got to work, so somebody has to stay at home and take care of those children. But let me tell you that these young parents sometimes forget their main duty, that parents have actually forgotten about their parental responsibility. I don't know how we are going to deal with those problems. As I said, I'm happy that we have people coming from all over the country, from various religious and the social groups. You need to go back and begin thinking about where the rain started beating us. Otherwise, we are treating symptoms. We are treating symptoms. We are not dealing with the core root of the problems of our children. Let's be more serious and see what we can do. I want to wish you fruitful deliberations and hope that you come up with concrete proposals to deal with the children that we have on the streets and in homes.
ACCIK, a national network for registered charitable children institutions, CCIs from across Kenya, was the chief organizer of the symposium. The CCIs are established under the Children Act with the sole mandate of providing care, protection, control, and rehabilitation of children in need of care and protection. The event brought together stakeholders in childcare and protection, such as juvenile justice agencies, physical and mental health practitioners, education and research institutions, media, NGOs, religious organizations, and national and county governments. The 3-day conference saw back-to-back presentations. Here are the highlights.
Factors that affect the safety of children in Kenya. The first one is schooling. In whichever way you try to bring out child protection, there must be a concern on schooling. And the finding by research is that children are best protected when they are retained in school where they should be at the age of school going. So retaining children in school is a factor that enhances safety. So one way of checking whether we are protecting our children is to check or establish what is the number of children dropping out of school or the number of children that are not accessing school. Because when they don't access school, then they are found to be on the wrong side of the law. Number two of the factors that we explore is poverty. Where there are high levels of poverty, cases of child abuse are likely to be high. About poverty. And presenters who have come here have highlighted some of the consequences of poverty. When there is poverty, especially at family household level, then there is hunger, homelessness, and the list is long, including poor health. Therefore, improving economic status of household is a protective measure for our children. The third one is the nature of family types. There are some family types that predispose children to harassment and child abuse than others. There are some family types that are more hard hit by poverty than others. Find out where are our children most hurt in terms of family type. The fourth is protective policies and laws. And I'm glad that we have the honorable judges here, experts in law, policymakers from government are here. There is need for us to examine adequacy of existing policies and laws meant to protect our children. As I finish, the fifth factor is school curriculum. Most of the time, our children will spend in schools. So if we don't provide rich, relevant, and a nurturing environment in school, then we lose it. Schools should be our sources of reasonable young citizens.
One way of ensuring children are okay and do not misbehave is retaining them where? Because there's some order. So we have two ways in which children get into the system, into the justice system, either as a child offender or a child in need of care and protection. Generally, we call them children in contact with the law. A child offender ni yule mtoto anashukiwa amevunja sheria. They are suspected of having committed an offense. A child in need of care and protection, we have categories in the Children's Act. It sets out about 20 of them. A child who is an orphan, a child whose parent is terminally ill, a child who is unable to, who is denied education. There are a lot of them there. I could have shown them, but they're in the Children's Act.
I'm giving judicial perspective of the issues of protection of reproductive rights of children and humans generally. Reproductive rights are a person's rights relating to the control of his or her procreative activities. It is the cluster of civil liberties relating to pregnancy, abortion, sterilization, especially the personal bodily rights of women in that decision. Now it includes the idea of being able to make reproductive decisions free from discrimination, coercion, or violence, and are already recognized in national laws, international human rights documents, and other relevant United Nations consensus documents. This right also includes freedom to make choices as a tenet in reproductive rights. It has implications that go far beyond individuals. It also affects the society. There is also there is the right to information. Every person has a right to information, especially on their reproductive rights. The right to attain the highest attainable standard of sexual and reproductive health.
County governments will continue to ensure child advocacy institutions are involved in the public participation fora during the budget-making process. We try our level best. This will promote development of child-sensitive budgets. I therefore call upon us for closer collaboration of all actors at all levels, both the national and county governments and development partners and NGOs on matters of child care and child protection through consultation and cooperation.
but we invite you to reach out to the county governments where you are situated and improve the promotion and protection of children's rights. We cannot continue working in parallel, as I said. We need to be in the core and at the center of planning and at the center of ensuring that our annual work plans within the counties reflect child protection and that there are resources that are set aside for that purpose. Again, maybe we need to rethink whether county governments need to have a bigger role in managing the infrastructure of our primary and secondary schools. Because if we go around the country, actually the beacon, beautiful building that you will see standing in primary schools is the ECD building. If what I see in the media and when I visit counties is anything to go by, then a dialogue around this issue is eminently important. When a roof is blown off, when the rain has come and it's seeping through the roofs, the first person who is reached out to is the governor. And despite the fact that the governor does not have resources to build or to repair roofs that have been blown off in primary and secondary schools, he has no choice or she has no choice but to do it. And so it means that the resources that were meant to build a hospital have now to be diverted to go and build the roof. So I would like to urge us to all rethink and clearly ask ourselves, how do you want these two levels of government to work together to ensure that children are protected in the school and they're also protected outside the school?
How do these caregivers respond to the needs of a child? Are they sensitive? A child is crying and is calling out to somebody to attend to them. Probably is a baby. How is that mother or how is that father able to respond to that particular need of a child at the appropriate time? Do they delay? Do they ignore? And it's all the need, the physical, emotional, psychological, social, spiritual. A child comes to you, learning to you, they need that affection. How is the caregiver able to respond to that? Predictability is about being consistent, keeping expected routine when responding to children's needs so that they are able to feel safe and secure. Are you predictable? Today you are nature, tomorrow you come. Like when those of us who have lived or have experienced living with a parent who is an alcoholic. Today they come, everything is okay. The next minute, support, guidance. So they are different kind of the families, and today they are very diverse. It's not the nuclear family we knew. We have child-headed, breaded, single parent, extended step, same sex. Today we have another family that have become very common in Kenya, the child family, where girls have become mothers. Narok County is leading with, I think, 46%. How is the family able to meet the diverse needs of the child?
So far, we have placed 40 children. We translated them from our CCI into foster or different types of alternative family care. We have recruited and trained 10 parents, and out of that, we've qualified 8 foster parents. And the training we made ourselves. They went through a session which takes like 10 weeks. And even the parents, when they were going through those sessions, they even said, if only I knew when I was raising up my own children, it would have really helped me. So I also believe that these trainings can help any community when you're teaching parents on skills on how to raise up children, which we have discussed that there are many issues. So it can help even people who are just raising up their own children. We've started 6 foster care families, and we still continue to support kinship partly, and individual foster child, we fully support them.
How do you select who qualifies to be a foster parent, and what kind of training you take them through? You say you are 10, but only 8 qualified. So what is the criteria and what do you look for?
Some are, the parents are not able to take care of them due to the fact that they live on the street, drug addicted or alcohol addicted. But we still want to promote the relationship with the children if it's possible and if it's safe. Either we, if we know it is a good relationship, we bring the parents to the foster home. If not, we take them to the office, we meet at another place. About the training, we train them in different subjects, like about punishment, how to punish children, for example, about when to start talking, for example, about sex. What is foster care about? What does it mean to be a foster parent? So you go through many different subjects to make sure that they are aware of what it is. And then assessment, it is not a work. When you want to be a foster parent, it's not a work. You cannot do it because of money or because you think, oh, let me just do this. It is a calling. So you need to make sure that the parents that you have, they have that. Because otherwise you will end up having the kids there, and after a year they say, oh, it's too tough, they bring them back. So you do an assessment also with their biological children, because if the biological children are not in agreement about the fact that other children are coming in the house, you cannot bring the foster children in that house because it will bring division in the family.
It's not very clear like it is in the adoption. In the adoption, it's very well stipulated. But when it comes to foster, it is silent. And also there are other conflicts that are rising. And we need somebody, maybe an expert who can give us a very quick answer. We are Africans. And we are still wrestling with adoption, with foster care, with kingship and whatever. Because, you know our African, the way we are, vile tumeumbwa, kama ukichukua mtoto wa mwingine, kuna maswali kadhaa utajibu. Yaani hawezi zaa wake, walinunua.
Media, how do we prove that media actually has that power that we can use to protect our children against that exposure, or that media can spoil our children? Just look at commercials. The effects of commercials on our buying habits, for instance, is evidence enough of how powerful media is. Media shapes character. As an adult, as they say, probably you cannot teach an old dog what? New tricks. But it's very easy to teach a puppy new tricks. So I'm not saying our children are puppies. This is just a simile. So media can teach our children bad things, and even the rest of us as we see through commercials. Commercials, especially done on media direct, you find tend to sexualize and over-sexualize everything. You see cooking fat. Somebody wants to introduce cooking fat, but there's some sexual connotation in it. What is the correlation between cooking fat and sex? For sure. We keep wondering, well, does it mean you'll eat and be healthy and you can really perform? Okay, I don't know. But there's no correlation in that. So many of those, or maybe a beautiful car, the media has perfected on saying that probably if you have a beautiful wife and their concept of beauty is slender, tall, I don't know, light. Now imagine people like me with big bodies like this and look at the leg and so on. According to the media, I'm ugly. But in my community, I'm very beautiful. They sing songs in praises of my kind of leg, but for the media. And then you see that is what they do to our children. As the children watch, they now want to emulate. They start struggling, they become anorexic, they don't want to eat because I want to look like so and so. But the others also who have shown you must have a very big supporting document behind there. So what do our children do from the commercials? They want to go for those artificial ones. Actually, when you see the majority out there, especially for the men, do not think it is what you see. A good number of them are bought. They are just fake, like fake news. And then the ladies, especially mothers like me, we get so worried. We look, we say, no, I'm not like them. What will happen? When you are driving with the Mosee and you see him look at them, you wonder. They are not normal. They are artificial, my friends. And you see that is what our children want to look like. And what has brought all this, it's the what? The media. So it is a double-edged sword.
The event was also graced by a number of county first ladies who would become the ambassadors of childcare and protection at the county level.
So our focus areas are mainly on issues to do with the vulnerable in the community. That is a priority. And when you talk about the vulnerable, we are talking about the women. We know that women are among the vulnerable as usual, but we believe that in future they won't. We are talking about the children who are actually our subject. Those are the people that we focus on, the children. The youth are also the group of people that we focus on, and also persons with disability, the elderly, the widowed, the widowers, etc., the vulnerable in the community. And as we do this, we don't do it independently, but we actually draw our programs and activities from the big picture that is, the big picture, which of course the individual governors have in the individual counties. So we are there to complement what they are doing. We don't do anything that is parallel. So with regard to health, we focus on, health issues especially maternal issues and child care. We know that there are so many issues to do with the health of the mothers, the health of the children, and these are part of the issues that we focus on. Various ladies have come up with programs, and you've seen the much that they've been able to do. As much as they don't have a budget, because the First Lady's office is not constitutional, I'm sure she can tell us it's not constitutional, but somehow counties have been able to come up with a way of ensuring that the First Lady's office functions in order to complement what the county government does. We also focus on environmental issues, where we look at sanitation and hygiene. We come up with programs where we are able to make better, at least the living of our people. With regard to children, we've come up with so many programs, especially our emphasis for most of us, and actually to almost all of us, it is about ensuring that the basic rights of the child are ensured. The child is meant to be in school. That is a basic right. The child is meant to have food. That is a basic right. The child is meant to have good health. That is a basic right, plus many others that we know. All these issues that we've been discussing in this conference, this is part of our focus. This is part of our focus.
A successful event it was indeed, and this can be attributed to the support the organizers got from partners such as ACCIK's development partner, Multimedia University of Kenya, Government of Kenya, among others.
ACCIK, of course, was founded by a child 70 years ago in Sweden. And our founder, who was called ACCIK, went through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And because of that background, he began to work with different children in the world. And right now, ACCIK's work with, we work in 25 countries. And our vision is really to ensure that dreams of children come to pass. And our objective is to ensure that children and families living in poverty and exclusion are empowered to influence and improve the conditions in society in which they live, and promote respect and fulfillment of rights of the most vulnerable children.
To the presenters and participants, thanks a million.
Shutterstock Music.
Symposium has been a success in that from day one, when we had the opening remark from the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court, we had a wonderful counsel from him, and also we had wonderful speakers and presenters who have been presenting in this workshop. Another goal we have been able to realize is that stakeholders have come to learn of each other, of what they do, and they'll be building linkages so that we can be able to work together in the field of childcare and protection.
I welcome this symposium, and I congratulate Reverend Dongo and the others who have put this together. This conversation on children is a very critical one. We need to invest in our children. If we want to have a secure and a stable, prosperous Kenya, then we must be working on the children today. And child protection is one of the issues. If violence does not end, if development is not taken seriously, if protection is not a national issue, then we are failing as a nation. So I want to congratulate them, and I wish that this can be taken to such a higher level that every Kenyan, wherever they are, can be made aware about the issues around child safeguarding.
They could actually rotate the symposium in counties. So they go to different counties so that more people can be able to participate and support themselves, because they are talking about the future of this country, which is in the children. So they are doing a very good job, and on our part as the council, we support them 100%.